Giacomo Puccini's beloved opera La Boheme takes place in Paris around 1830, mostly in the Latin Quarter. The Act I curtain rises on the attic apartment shared by four Bohemians. It is Christmas Eve. The near-destitute painter Marcello and poet Rodolfo try to keep warm by feeding their stove with pages from Rodolfo's latest drama. They are soon joined by their roommates, Colline, a philosopher, and Schaunard, a musician, who brings food, fuel, and funds he has collected from an eccentric student. As the four are about to share a toast, their landlord Benoit comes to collect the rent. They ply the older man with wine, then throw him out. As his friends leave for the Café Momus, Rodolfo remains behind to write, promising to join them later. There is a knock at the door. The visitor is a pretty neighbor, Mimi, a seamstress whose candle has gone out on the stairway. She is very weak, and no sooner than Rodolfo lets her in, she faints. Rodolfo revives her with a glass of wine, relights her candle, and accompanies her to the door. Mimi realizes she's dropped her key, and as they search for it, both candles go out. Rodolfo finds the key and quietly places it in his pocket. As the two continue to search in the moonlight, their hands meet. Rodolfo tells Mimi his dreams. She tells him of her simple life alone, embroidering flowers. Expressing their joy in finding each other, Mimi and Rodolfo embrace and slowly leave, arm in arm, for the café. Act II begins in the square outside the Café Momus. Amid the noise of street vendors, Rodolfo buys Mimi a bonnet, and the two join his friends at a sidewalk table outside the café. The toy seller Parpignol is followed by a crowd of noisy children. Musetta, Marcello's former lover, arrives, accompanied by Alcindoro, a wealthy older gentleman. Trying to regain Marcello's attention, Musetta sings a waltz about her popularity. No longer wishing Alcindoro's company, Musetta cries out that her shoe pinches and sends Alcindoro to buy a new pair. She then falls into Marcello's arms and joins his table. When the bill arrives, Musetta tells the waiter to charge everything to Alcindoro. Soldiers parade by, and the friends fall in behind. When Alcindoro returns with the shoes, he discovers he's been left with the bill. The opening of Act III is at dawn by a tavern on the snowy outskirts of Paris. Mimi wanders in, searching for the place where Marcello and Musetta now live. When the painter emerges, she tells him of her distress over Rodolfo's incessant jealousy. She says she believes it is best that they part. When Rodolfo appears from the tavern, Mimi hides nearby. The poet tells Marcello that he wants to separate from his sweetheart, citing her fickleness. But pressed for the real reason, he breaks down, saying that her coughing can only grow worse in the poverty they share. He is desperately afraid she will die of her illness. Overcome with tears, Mimi stumbles forward to bid her lover farewell. While Mimi and Rodolfo recall past happiness, Musetta quarrels with Marcello, who has caught her flirting. The painter and his mistress depart, hurling insults at each other, but Mimi and Rodolfo decide to remain together until spring. At the beginning of Act IV, Rodolfo and Marcello are now separated from their girlfriends and lament their loneliness in the garret. Colline and Schaunard arrive, and to lighten their spirits, the four stage a dance and mock sword fight. Suddenly, Musetta bursts in to tell them that Mimi is outside, too weak to come upstairs. Rodolfo carries her in, while Musetta asks Marcello to sell her earrings for medicine, and Colline goes off to pawn his overcoat. Left alone, Mimi and Rodolfo recall their first meeting and their happy days, but she is seized with violent coughing. The others return, and Mimi drifts into unconsciousness. When Rodolfo at last realizes that she is dead, he throws himself despairingly on her body, crying out her name.